Welcome back, everyone, to the Westlake Hornets Teambuilder Dynasty here on NCAA Football 14. As today, a new season of Westlake football is underway. We have the Season 9 preview. Yes, we are in Season 9 now. My goodness, does time fly. So today we're going to be going over all the stuff you would go over before a season. We'll be doing official custom schedules, official depth charts, official red shirts, setting up the recruiting board. I've worked a couple hours now on the custom recruits, so if you sent one in, thank you for sending in a custom recruit. If you did not send in any custom recruit, don't worry. There's always next season. You can join the Discord server where we do have custom recruits. We also have really cool storylines for these recruits, and it is fun. So, on to skip to recruiting now. I think that's what we're going to start with today. I don't really have a set order for these season previews. We're just going to start off with recruiting for today's episode because why not? So let's see who's interested in it. Just so everyone knows, all of the custom recruits will be shown at the end of the video in like a montage format. So yeah, let's see if there are any top prospects interested. And there are a few. Starting with the number 4 overall player in the country, defensive tackle Joaquin Tejada. Former high school teammate of Lewis Kahn and Kyle Harris, both of whom are on our team now. We looked at him last year, and he looks like an absolute monster, so very happy to have him interested. The number 10 overall player, an athlete, Brett DeAngelis. We have a wide receiver, Titus Moss. He is second. He's from Florida, but it looks like he wants to go to a Pac-12 school. His top 5 teams are on the Pac-12, so I guess he does not mind about going away from home. There's Kez October, the younger brother of Quantavious and new Westlake commit Octavius October. Ken Williams, a running back. We could use some extra running back depth. Dante Savage, Patrick Daly are NFL draft eligible after this season. Jeff Thomas, an athlete, is also interested. We are 5th on his board. Doesn't look like we're 1st for anyone, though. We're 3rd for John Cummings, the number 11 athlete. And there we go, we're 1st for someone. Donald Hughes, a wide receiver. You can never have too many receivers, especially for us when we won a ton of 4 receiver sets. We have an outside linebacker who's 3rd, Dante Rollins. Man, there are a bunch of 5-stars in this year's class. Usually there's not even 30. This year's there's over 40. The number 5 quarterback, Kyle Russ. His top team is us. We don't need a quarterback at all. Peyton Curtis is a redshirt junior, but we have Rodney Allen, who's a redshirt freshman, as well as last year's number 1 quarterback, Stephen Westwoods, though. Probably not going to really look at him. And then right after him, the top 4-star, Reggie Herman, an athlete. He is 1st for us. So a bunch of guys are interested. Ray Huggins as well. Gardner. So let's make our recruiting board and let's get this thing on the road, I guess. I don't know. Actually, before we start, why don't we take a look at everyone who's interested in coming? And there are a bunch of guys here. There are a bunch of players who want to come. Remember in Season 1 where there was nobody? There's Arch Westwood, one of the Westwood siblings. He's 1st for us, so that's cool. Maybe we can get some more Westwood players. Of course, as I mentioned earlier, we have Stephen Westwood. There's also Orlando Westwood in this recruiting class as well. So look at all these 4-stars, and then 3-stars, there's probably going to be a ton. Yeah, bunch of guys want to come here. Jeez, remember Season 1 when there was pretty much no one who wanted to come here? How the times have changed. So we have 1,000 points for scouting here in the preseason week, so we're going to be able to scout 20 players, starting with Joaquin Tejada, the top player in the country who has interest in us, and he will stay in the 81. So defensive tackle is definitely a position we could look at as a potential need. We have some young guys there, but none of them are really crazy good yet. Brett DeAngelis, an athlete, he looks like a quarterback, so I think I'm just going to take him off. We'll keep him on for now, but we won't scout him. I'm just trying to avoid quarterbacks because we don't need any. Titus Moss, a wide receiver, he goes down to a 74, but he still looks solid. Nice spec catch, nice catch in traffic, nice route running as well. He only has 83 speed, though. I don't really like that. Running back, Ken Williams. I'm not really going to scout him now because I do think we have bigger needs, but like DeAngelis, I'll keep him on the board. Jeff Thomas, he kind of looks like a quarterback. We'll scout him anyway because of the C accuracy. And he goes down to a 74, and he is definitely a quarterback. I don't really like that. John Cummings, Is not a quarterback. Thank you. But what is this guy good at? I guess maybe defensive back? 85 zone, 81 man. He's now a 78 overall. Yeah, I think we're definitely going to hold on to this guy. He looks like something nice. Donald Hughes, wide receiver. He goes down to a 73. So we've not had too much luck when it comes to scouting so far. Dante Rollins, one of the best outside linebackers. Outside linebacker isn't a huge need, but we could always add some extras. He goes down to a 75. Yeah, these guys are not as good as advertised. Reggie Herman, an athlete, is a gem. 79 overall. He definitely looks like a wide receiver. He's slow, though. 85 speed. I don't really like that. Nick Gardner, defensive end. He goes up to a 78. Can never have too many good pass rushers. Jared Adams, he's not a quarterback, thank goodness. He also looks like a defensive back, and he goes up to a 77. Likely more of a safety with that higher zone coverage. He can't really tackle, though, and he does not have great hit power, so I don't really know about him as a safety or a corner. We'll have to see. Wesley Thomas, probably a QB. I'm going to wait on him. Richard Richards, a corner. He has a beautiful name, and he goes up to a 77. 88 man, 88 zone. This guy not only has a sick name, but he's also a beast. Stephen Allen, guard. Can never have too many offensive linemen. He looks like a nice pass blocker. Peter Ivey, we could use some inside linebacking help. We thought we would not have our middle linebacker of the future headed into this season, but apparently Justin McGee can play there. So we're looking good for right now a middle linebacker, but we could always add some competition. Peter Ivey goes down to a 71, and we're first for him too, so that doesn't make me too thrilled. Arch Westwood, one of the Westwood bros, he goes down to a 71. I don't think we put Orlando on the board. I'll have to add him. Walter Montgomery, a center, he stays at a 75. Terrence Thibodeau, corner, has nice speed. It ends up being 94. And solid hit power. We could always look to move him to safety. Jason Poole, nice speed, nice excel. This guy looks like an absolute monster, not going to lie. Michael Jefferson, an offensive tackle. 80 run blocking, does go down to a 71. Mac Terry, custom recruit. He goes up to a 72. Jared Jackson, tiny wide receiver, but he is a custom recruit, and he goes up 4 to a 76 overall. Willie Wiggins, what a name. No relations to Nigel, because I think Willie here is white, as he's only a 68. That'll do it for scouting, so we'll have to add Orlando Westwood, and then we will go on to custom schedule. I have made a few changes to the non-conference schedule. The strength of schedule has gone from an A to an A+, so it's not going to be easy for us this year. Week 1 versus our rivals Utah State. I did change this. It was originally ECU, but after thinking about it, it does seem like you guys did want to see Utah State, and they are our rivals, so it only does make sense. Week 2 is a bye week. Week 3 at USC. Week 4 versus UCLA. Can't really change these games, but it's always good to have some challenges early on in conference play. Week 5 is going to be at Auburn. Week 6 at the defending national champion Baylor Bears. Week 7 is a bye week. Week 8 is at Utah. So we have 5 straight games against ranked opponents, with 4 of them being on the road. So weeks 3 through 8 is going to be a very rough stretch. Week 9 versus Washington State. This one should be a lot easier. We beat the Cougars 49-7 last year. Week 10 will be versus the Oregon Ducks. Week 11 at Washington, who is ranked number 11. Week 12 versus Duke, so our final non-conference game will be pretty late in the season. Week 13 at Boise State. It says this is a rivalry game. I think that's because we replaced Iowa. So we're not rivals, but I guess we don't really like each other. And we get to play on the blue turf this year, so that's fun. And then Week 14 will be versus BYU for Senior Day. I think this is the team we shut out last year. I'm pretty sure it was BYU. So here's a look, of course, at the custom schedule. The only changes we made was to add Utah State and Auburn, replacing ECU and University of Louisiana Lafayette. Now we will be doing the depth chart. This is pretty much official outside of a few positions, which we will be having position battles for, something I've never really done. And I'll let you guys eventually vote for who we end up starting. So, quarterback, set in stone, Curtis Hadley and Rodney Allen. The third string could be a quarterback battle, but the third string's probably not going to play for us too much. Running back, another position that's set in stone. Dante Savage, Patrick Daly want to give a 1-2 punch. Washington's head coach is actually named Tim Beck, so I find that funny that our third string running back is also Tim Beck. Fullback will be Jeff Brandt. Wide receiver, this is where we see our first position battle. These top 3 are set in stone, but what about the number 4 receiver? Now, you're probably thinking, oh, it's just a backup spot. Not really. The number 4 receiver actually gets a ton of playing time here. And Ayo Ayaluko was the number 4 receiver for 3 out of his 4 years. And he's second all-time in school history for receiving touchdowns. So the 2 competitors for this spot are redshirt sophomore Frank Bray and redshirt freshman Ulri Ayaluko. And yes, I will address the elephant in the room. This is Ayo's younger brother. So it would be kind of cool if Ulri gets that number 4 spot just like his brother did. Also wearing number 80. Tight end Ronald Young, Ray White. Don't see much to battle there. Offensive line, same thing. I think it's pretty much set. Josh McClelland, Neil Scott, Mike Carter, Jamar Porter, and Donald Shaw. I think this is a very solid unit. Defensive line, same thing. Obviously, Cole Spencer is going to start. Obviously, Ray Johnson's going to start. But defensive tackle, Marcus Shelton's good. But what about the number 2 spot? We got true freshman Octavius October and redshirt sophomore Derek Berry. If Octavius does not win the starting job, he will be redshirted. Linebacking core, pretty much set. Lawrence McCoon, Owen Jackson, and Lewis Kahn. Defensive backs is a weird position. We have a very new secondary this year. I think I'm going to rock out with this group, Josh Wilson, Andy Pino, and John Paul Patterson as the main corners. We could have some competition for the number 4 corner, but I think Steve Harvey can patrol that very nicely. Free safety, Brenton Scott. He's never started a game for us, which is why this is a position we could look at. But I do think he is far better than the competition, Jimmy Gray, Steve Harvey, and Marcus Lee. So I think we are going to rock and roll with Scott. Strong safety, obviously, Sean Briggs. He's not going anywhere. Kicker, set in stone. That'll be Volker Gantz. Punter will be Alberto Prompel. Kick returner, Sean Briggs and Patrick Daly. I was doing some practice with, returning field goals. Patrick Daly is mean. Well, let me just say that right now. Once Sean Briggs goes, when Patrick Daly is going to be the main return specialist, that should be fun. Kickoffs will be done by Alberto Prompel, and the launch snapper will be Mike Carter. So the 2 positions we're going to be looking at are wide receiver 4 and defensive tackle number 2. Let's get right on into it. If you want to vote for who wins the position battles, there should be cards at the top right of your screen for you to vote. If not, I'll leave a link in the description to a straw poll or something, or it'll be on the community tab. I don't really know yet. But here is Ulri Ayaluko kicking off the wide receiver number 4 battle. Ulri is the younger brother of Ayo Ayaluko. I know I'm going to call him Ayo about 20,000 times, so just be prepared. Ulri and Ayo are very similar. Both of them have the dreadlocks. Both of them wearing number 80. Both of them are deep threats, can stretch the field. If Ulri wins this job, he will start at the number 4 receiver for multiple seasons, which was where Ayo was for 3 years. So I could see them having very similar career trajectories. Ulri's competition is Frank Bray, a redshirt sophomore, former 4-star athlete from Franklin Park, Pennsylvania, as Bray and Ulri Ayaluko are very different players. They have similar frames, but outside of that, they're not similar at all. Ulri Ayaluko is not as polished as Frank Bray, but is more athletic. He's far faster than Frank Bray. Ulri is known for being super fast, whereas Frank Bray is known for being super slow. But Bray does have better hands, and he's a little bit better of a route runner. He's overall more polished, but it would be fun for the storylines and for speed purposes to have Ulri Ayaluko there. Now looking at the defensive tackle spot, who will be starting alongside Marcus Shelton. First competitor here is true freshman Octavius October. Like Ulri Ayaluko, Octavius here has family ties. His older brother Quantavius October played in the National Football League for the Miami Dolphins, won a pair of Super Bowl rings, and now his younger brother here trying to make a name for himself at Westlake. These strengths and weaknesses aren't necessarily strengths and weaknesses of the player, but more so comparing them to their competition. October's competition is Derek Berry here, and in comparison, Octavius is a better run stopper. However, Derek Berry's a little bit better of a pass rusher. Berry has more experience as he started last year, and he's been with the program for now his 3rd year, where this is Octavius' 1st year. However, Berry's production was not that great last year, only 2 sacks and he was definitely overshadowed by some of the other players on the defensive line. Yes, Westlake does run some one defensive tackle set sometimes, but I would say over 50% of the plays, Derek Berry is on the field, and with having Cole Spencer, Ray Johnson, and Marcus Shelton all on the same defensive line, I feel like he should be getting more than 2 sacks. So that'll do it for the position battles preview, I guess. And now back to LiveCom May. So the 2025 season is now underway. I know it says 2021, but that's a lie. So we will start giving out scholarships and points later on. But first, we're going to check out the preseason polls, Heisman Watch, preseason All-Americans, all that good stuff. So Alabama starts out as the number 1 overall team in the nation. There is Texas at number 2, the only team that beat us last year. We are at number 3, so we're still in 97 overall. Still a 99 offense, but our defense has gone up from a 93 to a 95. So we did get better. Mississippi State of all teams at number 4, USC at number 5, UCLA at 6, even though they had a C special teams. Ohio State at 7, our rival Utah at 8, with a D- special teams. Georgia at 9, and then the defending champion Baylor Bears round out the top 10. So we'll go for everyone. Rutgers is in the top 25 at 24. Okay, I see you, Buckers. Oregon at number 31, San Diego State right behind them, New Mexico State in there. So there are some surprises. I'm surprised Army's at 47. They've been pretty good the past few years. Illinois in there at 52. Kansas at 59. Okay. I don't know about that, Chief. Who gets the honorary number 69? That goes to the Tulane Green Wave. So 100 is South Alabama. And the worst team in all of college football is UTEP. Nice. Here we are at the Heisman Watch. The preseason favorite is New Mexico running back Jamil Wright. Number 2 is Mississippi State quarterback Brock Roberts. Number 3 is our running back Dante Savage. Keith Gaines, the quarterback at Navy, in 4th. And Dallas Maynard, the quarterback of the Florida Gators, in 5th. So we do have someone of a Heisman Watch, which is pretty cool. Looking at the conference outlook, do they have us winning the best conference in college football? Yes, I said the Pac-12 is the best. Obviously not in real life, that title goes to the SEC, but in the game, the Pac-12 is better. Did you see all of those ranked teams in our conference? So they have us winning our division, which is the North. Utah's number 8, Washington's number 11. So 3 teams in the top 11 in our division, and the Southern Division is the better division, at least in my opinion. Washington State bringing up the rear. In the South, USC, UCLA, Arizona, Stanford, Colorado, Cal, Arizona State. Those are 7 quality teams. All those 4 teams, I think, are top 25 worthy. They don't have Stanford there, but I would say Stanford's top 25 here. Preseason All-Americans. Let's see if we have any players. I assume we probably will. And we do on offense. Dante Savage, All-NCAA first team for the preseason. There's Michael Singleton. We went after him a few years ago in recruiting. Size-Teek Yancey, a custom recruit. Cole Spencer, of course, is there. Marcus Shelton, Owen Jackson, Josh Wilson, Sean Briggs. So, not as many players as we usually have at the end of the year, but that's fine. We have some doubters to prove. On the second team, Dallas Maynard is the quarterback for Florida. Ray Johnson, the defensive end, is there, and he ends up being the only one. So let's check out the Pac-12 team. Dante Savage, Nigel Wiggins, Malik Brown, Mike Carter, Cole Spencer, Ray Johnson, Marcus Shelton. There's your good friend Fred Campbell, Owen Jackson, Josh Wilson, Sean Briggs. And then on the second team, quarterback Peyton Curtis. He is joined by his left guard Neil Scott, along with Donald Shaw, Derek Berry, who might not even start. Andy Pino is there as well. Hobo Johnson at kick returner. Okay, AP. And then I don't know where the all-freshman team is. Do we not get to look at it? I didn't know that. Okay. So we don't get to look at the freshman team. I saw that we did have one freshman there. Probably someone like Lewis Kahn, I would have to imagine. Championship contenders. Are we 1-1-1 after this year? Sure are, baby. That's how we roll around here. Toughest places to play. We have a very long home winning streak. I think it has to be like 17, 18 games by now in a row. 19 straight games. We're 41-11 all time. Our last home loss was our home opener back in Season 6, which is the year that we lost the national championship to Stanford. Well, we lost the home game to Stanford. Obviously, the Natty was not against Stanford. Only other team with a double-digit home winning streak is the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Shout out to Husker. So, that is the preseason stuff. Now on to recruiting. Let's see if we can get some insta-commits. Of course, I'll say the most famous one is Aubrey Aluko, who might end up starting for us down the line. So, obviously, this only works for guys who are in first place for us. Donald Hughes, does he commit? He does not. We kind of need him to, because as you can see, South Carolina might not be a pipeline state next year. Athlete Reggie Herman does not commit. Anyone else? Wesley Thomas does not commit. We're not doing too well so far. Stephen Allen, we could use a guard, and he's the number one in the country. And he commits! Stephen Allen, wrong sport. Welcome to Westlake. Last year's first insta-commit was an offensive lineman in J.B. Givens. And getting someone like Stephen Allen, the number one player in his position, we could use a guard, as our main offensive guards are all upperclassmen. Peter Ivey, he could be a good guy to have once Justin McGee graduates. He does not commit. Arch Westwood, do we get another Westwood brother? No, we do not yet. Terrence Thibodeau, corner. We're white cornerback you, but it's good to have diversity. And he does not commit. Jason Poole, he's number one. White cornerback you. He does not commit. So we're not doing too well so far. Only one. Michael Jefferson, another offensive lineman. Nope, I thought we were going to get him. Jared Jackson, one of Nick's custom players, does not commit. Willie Wiggins, an offensive lineman, he commits. So welcome to Westlake, Willie Wiggins. Remember our center, Mike Carter, he is also an upperclassman. So getting these offensive linemen, I think, are really huge for us. Corey Goodwin, defensive end, does not commit. That's tough. Dylan Washington, linebacker. He is committing. Let's go. So welcome to the team, Dylan Washington. Sean Irons, the number 9 corner. He is not committing, unfortunately. And that is it for guys who are in first place. So we ended up getting 3 this year. I think last year we got 4. So not bad. All 3 of these guys I definitely do think do have a pretty big part in our future, especially the 2 offensive linemen. So welcome to the team, Willie Wiggins, Dylan Washington, and Stephen Allen. Boom. I have allocated all 6,500 of our points. Week 1 is definitely one of the hardest weeks when it comes to recruiting because there's so many good players that you'll want to go after, but you can only put in points into so many for right now. So currently 600 into Joaquin Tejada. That is tied for the most we put into one single player. We can put up to 700 in a player, but there are so many guys that I just want to focus on quantity rather than quality, I guess, for right now. Another 600 into athlete John Cummings, 330 for Titus Moss. These guys all have none, including Kez October, but he will be a guy who I may look to put points into in the future. If you guys have suggestions for points, make sure to let me know in the comments. 295 for Dante Rollins, 350 for Reggie Herman, 300 for Nick Gardner, 295 for Jared Adams, 600 for Richard Richards, 350 for Thibodeau and Poole, 250 for Terry, 230 for Jackson. I have 3 gems in a row here in Sean Irons, Deontay Coleman, and Zeke Bowman. So Zeke Bowman and Deontay Coleman will get 300. Irons will get 350. And then Dylan Washington, the only insta-commit who we have not scouted yet, he went up 3 ratings. So he's now a 76 like Stephen Allen, whereas, of course, Willie Wiggins is a 68. So that'll do it for today's episode. Make sure to like the video and subscribe if you have not already. Next episode will be opening day versus the Utah State Aggies. Herb Street is going to use his brain and go with us. So hope you guys enjoyed. The custom recruit montage will be right now. So here we go, I guess. Have a good one.
hey,